This is the first Dragon Ball Z movie in 17 years, and this is the first time I've ever seen a Dragon Ball Z movie in theaters. Let's just say, I had an orgasm while watching this movie. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. So Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods is the newest Dragon Ball Z movie. It takes place after the Majin Buu saga in the Dragon Ball Z cartoon show timeline. Now for those of you who don't know, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. You don't believe me? That's right. I own that shit. Now I'm proud of it, son. Anyways, getting back to the point, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, so when I heard that Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods was coming here for a limited time, I was like, you know what, I gotta get tickets right away. The theater was packed. I've never seen the theater this packed in a long ass time. The line was huge. It made me feel proud knowing that there's Dragon Ball Z fans out there. I swear, if you've been to your local theater and you see a lot of people, it's for that new Dragon Ball Z movie, man. For those of you who don't know Dragon Ball Z, you probably don't know what the fuck I'm going to be talking about. But for my Dragon Ball Z fans, you know what I'm talking about. So Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods is the first Dragon Ball Z movie that's considered canon. All the other movies are not considered canon. So the film takes place after the Majin Buu saga, and what happens is that this most powerful being in the entire universe, our universe, Beerus, has awakened. Beerus has awakened because he visions of him fighting this being named a Super Saiyan God. And he also wants to know about the updates on how Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta. But before diving into that, he just keeps thinking of the vision that he had, him fighting the Super Saiyan God. So he's like, you know what? I want to find that Super Saiyan God. There's only a few Saiyans left. There's only 5. Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Vegeta, and Goku. So the first Saiyan that he visits is Goku. And from there on, we have our DBZ movie. I gotta say, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods was a really good movie. Now, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, it is awesome. It's everything you want a Dragon Ball Z movie to be. The humor is there, the action kicks ass. What I like about this movie, it reminded me of the earlier episodes of Dragon Ball. Not Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball. It was lighthearted. The film did not take itself too seriously. It was like, you know what, we're a cartoon, you know, let's just have fun with it. And there was a lot of good humor in this movie. And the fight scenes, even though it's cartoon, it's the best I've seen. The fight scenes are really awesome. And what I like about this movie is that it didn't lose what the characters were about. What I mean by that is that what makes Goku Goku is not lost in this movie. He's still Goku. What makes Vegeta Vegeta is not lost. He is Vegeta. That's what I really like. You got to see pretty much almost every single character that you grew up with. And I gotta say, the villain Beerus, he is really cool. He's not your typical villain. You guys know, I didn't hate Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. But one of my gripes about the movie was that the villain, he wasn't really that interesting. It wasn't the actor. The character just wasn't that interesting. Beerus is a villain who's really menacing, yet funny. He makes jokes constantly. He made the entire theater laugh so many times. He was just a guy who's like, you know what, I don't give a fuck. He just jokes around all the time. Him being humorous and him being menacing and understanding makes him a really good villain, makes him stand out. It really gives his character more depth, and that's one of the best things about this movie, is that it had a really good villain. Towards the end of the movie, we learned there's more mythology to the Dragon Ball Z story than we originally thought. And as a Dragon Ball Z fan, there was this moment where Goku, he starts showing Beerus his Super Saiyan transformations. He goes from Super Saiyan 1, 2, and then 3. I'm telling you, I swear to God, when he turned Super Saiyan 3, I was like this. Also, there's this epic moment where Vegeta turns into a Super Saiyan and he just starts kicking the fuck out of Beerus. That moment was freaking epic. And what I love about this movie is that it just reminded me back when I was a kid, watching Dragon Ball Z all the time on the TV. It made me have flashbacks of when I was a little kid. And it was a really good nostalgia feeling to me. If you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan and you're just wondering if this movie's good, the movie is good, but you have to understand Dragon Ball Z. You have to know the story behind it, or unless you're just going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Who are these characters? You don't know what's going on. Are there a few gripes that I have with the movie? Yeah, some of the dialogue feels like exposition, like you're just describing to the audience like we don't know what's going on. Sometimes that happens, it just kind of gets a little bit annoying. And also there were some music choices to the film that I didn't necessarily like. I mean, there was a lot of good music that reminded me back of the old Dragon Ball Z movies, but there was 2 songs in the movie that just felt out of place, and you were just like, why is it in here? But other than those gripes, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods is a Dragon Ball Z movie that us DBZ fans needed and we deserved, and it is awesome. It's only released for a limited time. I think it's from Tuesday to Friday. So if you haven't seen the movie, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, go right away because it's fucking awesome. Just because I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan doesn't mean I'm going to give this movie an A+. I also have to think as a movie, how is it? For me, I'm gonna give this movie a B+. It is kick ass. Not only as a cartoon movie, but as a Dragon Ball Z movie, it is fucking awesome. I really enjoyed this movie as a Dragon Ball Z fan, and as a movie fan, there's a lot of stuff you can enjoy in this movie. I mean, it has a good villain, great characters, awesome action scenes. This is definitely the funniest Dragon Ball Z movie I've ever seen. It is hilarious, and you have a great time with it. So that is my review for Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and have a nice day. There's one point in the movie where Sean Schemmel does the Kamehameha wave, and I swear to God, goosebumps surrounded my body, and I started screaming like a little girl. I was just like, oh my